Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Ignace Aleya from ToleratedCinematics.com, and today it's yet another Filmmaking Friday. Today we're going to take a look on how to apply 3D text to a moving scene that we have shot. I'll actually give you that footage as well so you can follow along with my tutorial using the exact same footage. We will track that footage and apply a 3D layer to it. Whether you're solving math, writing in your diary, this is an amazing effect which has been used a ton of times in new series and movies. It visualizes what you're writing down, doing on your smartphone, who you're texting to, what you're writing on your computer. It's a really nice way to spice things up. This technique was actually a very big struggle in the filmmaking industry at first. Before they used this technique, they were actually just filming what the person was doing. Whether they were filming his screen of his phone, who he was texting to, or what email he was writing, they were just going to be filming the screen, writing that email, which is a very, very boring way of showing it. And now they changed it to really showing it on screen what's happening. So if you text someone, you will see like this text bubble effect, which I actually did a tutorial on. I will actually link that tutorial in this video. It's a really popular tutorial and it's a really interesting effect as well. So it's really cool to really show the audience within the shot what's going on instead of just showing them the boring image of the screen of your smartphone or your computer. And it also increases the detail of your shot, which makes your shot individually just look more fancy, so it looks so much more detailed and so much more professional immediately. So it's so simple to do. Alright, so I actually used this technique in a video I produced for a cryptocurrency investment group that I joined a while ago, and then they got to know me. They hired me to make a video for them as a promotion for their channel. So yes, I do invest in cryptocurrencies and I do think they have a very bright future ahead, but I have no idea about trading or anything about cryptocurrencies or which coins I should invest in. So that's why I checked out that group, and they actually do all the work for you. They advise you to buy this or buy that, trade whatsoever. I know my channel has nothing to do with this kind of topic, but I just wanted to let you know that I joined that group, and it's completely up to you if you join it or not. They have a free and premium group, but they really helped me a lot with my investment, so maybe they might help you. So I will show you that video first because I used a lot of cool techniques in that video which I might be making tutorials of, and then after that video we get started.
Let's face it, cryptocurrencies are the future. Investing in them is a great idea, but trading is extremely hard, especially for starters. There are so many options on the market, and making a bad decision happens very quickly. The market evolves rapidly, and you don't have the time to track everything. That's where we come in. We want you to make money, not lose. We have a dedicated team that analyzes the crypto market on a daily, full-time basis. We look at opportunities to buy in cheap and sell high, so you increase your wallet's value on a daily basis. Until now, we have had a 99% success rate on our trading predictions, and we only just began. Our job is to keep your investments safe. That's why we provide a safety portfolio next to the daily trades. This portfolio updates on a regular basis and is designed to make money with maximum stability. You can stay stress-free during any market condition, as it is our job to analyze everything for you and keep your investments safe. Your portfolio's safety is more important to us than you might realize. It's our passion, and we want to succeed with you. Join us and let's get rich together.
Alright, so I personally think that video looks really cool, and this has really not been sponsored on this YouTube channel to even put this video out, but I was so proud of the result. I'm so happy with that group which I joined, so I just wanted to take a few parts out of it, make a tutorial on how to create that. And actually, if you're interested in joining that group as well, I will put a link in the description where you can go ahead and check them out. It's actually a Telegram group on your smartphone or desktop. And also, before we start with the actual tutorial, I wanted to let you know know that we're almost reaching 150,000 subscribers at this moment, which means we're going to end the giveaway we created in collaboration together with Aperture Light. We are giving away an amazing ring light, which I'm using right now to record myself. It's an amazing light to put on your camera. So if you haven't seen that giveaway, go and check that out first and make sure you're joined on time. There is nothing special you have to do to join, so it's really worth just applying, and you never know, maybe you are the winner. So we talked enough right now, so let's get to the point. If you enjoy my videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. Alright, so in this video I will actually be showing you a few techniques, well actually two techniques on creating this effect. One will be without plugins and one will be with the Trapcode Particular plugin, which is a particle system which is really interesting in a variety of things, but especially in this one we can do a very quick and easy way to apply like text or whatever into our scene. But we'll look on the no plugin version first. So right here we are in Adobe After Effects, and I have this video footage of 10 seconds long. I will actually give that with a link in the description, so you can go ahead and download that as well. So I will drag this into a new composition like this. Then the first thing that you want to do is, you see that this shot is actually moving, but we also have an actor or actress in this case in our scene, and what we want to do is actually remove that. There is not so much movement going on, but just to be sure, if you have a different kind of shot, it's always important to key out your subject before you're going to start tracking your scene. So what we will do is go to the pen tool right here and then just click on your video in the layer, and then just select around your subject. And there we go. So now we have this. We'll press M on the keyboard and just set our mask to none so we don't see anything. And then we'll create a new stopwatch keyframe for our mask path. So right here we have a keyframe. We'll go all the way till the end of our timeline and then just move our mask a little bit and make sure that everything is nicely in our mask. So we'll just maybe adjust it a little bit, make sure that everything is nicely tucked in here. So we have our mask. Perfect. Okay, so what we will do now is actually subtract it. So go to the mask and click over here and subtract our subject from our shot just like this. So now we only have our background information. After that, we'll click on our layer and go to layer and pre-compose it and move all the attributes into a new composition. We'll rename this to track ready and then click OK. And then go to the tracker right here and just click on track camera. Here we'll also change one simple thing, go to the advanced tab and just check on detailed analysis. Let it do its thing, and once it's tracked down, we're actually almost done. It's so simple. Alright, so it's done tracking, let's continue. As you can see, after tracking we have a bunch of dots like these, and we will be using them as a reference for our text. But before we continue, we'll jump into the composition that we just created and click on the M key on your keyboard and just set your mask back to none so we actually see our subject again. Go back to our track shot, and now you will see that our dots are just not going to appear on top of your subject, so they're not going to look here to actually get these steady dot set. So right here, as we can see, everything has been tracked very well. What we will do is actually click over here, or actually select a few of these dots and right click and create a null and a camera. Okay, so after you've done that, we will create a text, just click on your text tool and write whatever. So maybe you're writing in your diary. So writing in the diary today, we're going to write something down. And actually what you can do is make a bunch of texts with different kind of words. So I'm going to be writing about toleratedcinematics.com, which I hear is an amazing website for motion graphics and filmmaking artists. So go and check it out with a link in the description. Alright, so shameless advertisement for our website, but what you can do now is make a bunch of text layers. So put some here, there we go. We have a bunch of text. Just do your thing until you're done with your text, and then we'll shift select all of the text layers in our composition, and then just toggle the switches until you see this row right here where we can actually make these a 3D layer. Then what we want to do is press P on the keyboard to reveal the position of our text and click on the tracked null now and press P on the keyboard. We'll see that our position right here is around 3430. So what we'll do is actually select all of our text layers and just set it at the same Z depth like our null right here. So 3430 plus minus, and then we can actually pull it back a little bit because the space has a little bit of depth to it, so we can play around with it. It's not a big deal. So right here we have our text. We'll actually go ahead and move it around. Maybe we can press S on the keyboard first and just make it bigger so you're satisfied. Maybe you can go ahead and give them some variation of size, so play around with that as well. Maybe you have a bigger one right here. We can also go ahead and select all of them again, press P on the keyboard, and also give them a random Z depth right here. So maybe some are very close to the camera and a few are maybe even farther away from the camera. So play around with a little bit of variation in here. And there we go. So we have our text. We'll move it around just like this. Move them over your complete screen here, just like this. And because we actually made these layers already 3D, if we're going to play this back, it's going to be tracked in immediately. So that's all we have to do to make our text fit into our scene. So right here we can see it's perfectly tracked towards our scene. So it's a very cool movement that we're going to have here. And the closer to the camera, the more movement is going to pick up. For example, I did stutter a little bit with my camera. You're going to notice that right here in this text. But if we're going to use a gimbal or a slider or something different, that will always help. So right here we have this. Looks pretty cool. Also, what I like to do is actually select all of my layers and press T on the keyboard and just lower the opacity something like 85. That's going to give it a little bit of a transparency, and that's going to allow some colors of the scene to come true, and therefore the text is going to integrate better within our scene, and it's going to look better composited together. So apart from that, we can also go to our track camera. So click on your camera layer and press A twice on the keyboard. This is going to reveal all the settings of our camera. Right here you will see that you have a depth of field currently set to off. If we're going to turn this on, it's going to allow us to create a shallow depth of field, which you might also notice with your cameras that the background is kind of blurred out. And this also gives it a really cool look, a little bit more realistic in my opinion. We can change the aperture to something like 250, and then we can play around with the focus distance, maybe increase it or lower it, and you're going to notice that some are going to be in focus and some are not. And the more you're going to increase your aperture, the more depth we're going to create here. So it's actually something like your f-stop on your camera. So this is pretty cool. We can add a few more text maybe. We can click on this text and duplicate it, put it right here, and put it a little bit more into the distance. So we have a blurred out text right here, which is pretty cool to have in your scene. And there we go. So we have it entirely done already. Now what you can do as well is select your text layers and go to the beginning of your timeline, press P on the keyboard and click on the stopwatch for a position. Move a little bit forward, and maybe you want to move your text towards the camera, like the audience is, like it's kind of dragging towards the audience, and then just put these keyframes at the end, and that way you're going to get a little bit of an animation in your text. Now what you can do as well is apply some kind of fade-in effect, which is actually, I will be using something of an upcoming text animation pack that we will be creating and will be available on our website as soon as possible. But we're currently working on it, so it's not available yet, but I'll just be using one of these, for example, a word blur in. And now you can go ahead and maybe offset these layers as well a little bit like this. And over time, they're actually going to fade in, but they're going to be like blurred and then come to a nice sharp fade in, which I think is a really cool effect for a fade in of text. And as you can see, looks pretty cool. Okay, super. So another thing that we can do is use the particle system that we talked about in the beginning of this video. And very simply, we're going to delete our text here and go and create a new particle system. So create a new solid layer and rename it particles, click OK and go to effects. RG trap code particular, and there we go. And now we have our particles right here, but as you can see, they're also blurred out because our particle system is actually too far into distance or too close, depends on our shot. But what we can do is open up our emitter master and change our emitter type to a box, and also remove the velocity to 0. Now we're going to increase our emitter size in Z by a lot. So maybe something like 5,000. And there we go. Now you're going to start noticing that some particles are sharp and some are not. They're out of focus. We can go ahead into our particle tab and also randomize the size to 100 and also increase the life to something like 5. Then we can go into the opacity over life and actually take a preset like this one here. So they actually fade in and come to a 100 opacity and then just fade out. So now we have our particles in our scene, but of course we don't want particles, we want text or anything. Maybe, for example, you can go ahead and scan some matte solutions that you put on paper and then just make it black and white and then key these out, and with blending mode you can actually put like math solutions in your screen, but we'll keep it simple and go and create a new composition and rename this to text particles and click OK. I will click on my text tool and click over here. Writing in the diary today, I will click and align this to the center. Move one frame with the page down key, and actually I'm going to zoom in here, one frame, and I'm going to split my layer, right click or edit split layer. Right here, or Control Shift D. And then we want to maybe change it. I've visited an amazing website. One frame forward. ToleratedCinematics.com. One frame forward. They sell motion graphics. One frame forward. Split it, templates, and much more. It's simply amazing. And there we go. So we have a few texts and again some advertisement, but hey, I'm making a free tutorial. I'm allowed to do this. So we're going to trim the comp to work area, and now we have just one frame. Well, on each frame we have a different kind of text going on. So this looks pretty okay. And now we'll go back to our main composition and we're going to drag in our text particles to our composition. We'll uncheck this so we don't see this layer, so it's just invisible actually. We're going to use this as a source for our particles. So click on your particle layer and go to Effects Controls, and then go to your particle tab right here, and instead of a sphere, we are going to be using Sprite Fill. And here we can open the Texture tab and just choose one of our layers, which is going to be our text particles. Click OK and OK again. And there we go, so they should have been loaded. All we have to do is increase the size until we see them. And there we go, we have our text. Of course, you can go ahead, add more particle text, randomize the size a little bit more. This is just simply a example on how to do it. But there we go, we already have our text, and then all you have to do is time sampling random still frame. That's going to pick one of the frames randomly and hold it still so we have an image of that frame and use this as a particle. And immediately, if we're going to use this and preview this, actually I'm going to spawn a few less particles so it renders a little bit faster, something like maybe 50. And do a quick preview. We can also go over here and go to the Physics tab and maybe go to the Air tab and put the wind direction in a negative value, and that way they're actually going to fly towards the camera. You can play around with all these dynamics, really cool. But yeah. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like. Also subscribe to the channel for more, and definitely check out our website for a lot of cool motion graphics templates, filmmaker assets, and stuff like that. And it helps to support the channel and create better content each time. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one, and goodbye.